Opine Productions presents.
Hey guys, it's Chris again. From robot uprisings to the sun just plain going out. Here are 8 ways the world might just end. And don't worry, this is all just a guess, nobody knows for sure, but hey, you've been warned. Number 8, Skynet. Starting off in the realm of science fiction, let's talk about a possibility that's actually more grounded than many think. The idea of a robot uprising is actually rather common. In fact, there are and were many real-life people who fear the idea of robots becoming so smart that they can replace humanity on such a level that the need for humanity is erased, and thus our world will end under the clutches of robot masters. As noted, many media have shown versions of this world-ending crisis, from video games like Overwatch and Mega Man, to Marvel Comics with Ultron, and of course, classic movies like the Terminator franchise via the infamous Skynet. Of course, the obvious question here, is this really possible? And the answer is yes, it's most definitely possible. In fact, that's why I named Skynet as a way for the world to end. For in the Terminator franchise, humanity created Skynet to help them with their military, specifically to control the ships and missiles that the United States had, and be able to not only determine threats, but know when to use the missiles, as well as their ships to ensure swift and efficient attacks, thus eliminating human error, for a computer could never malfunction like a human did in their minds. However, when Skynet started to learn things at a rate that was well beyond what it should, the military panicked. In their rush to try and shut Skynet down, they actually gave it the reasoning it needed to launch nuclear warheads and wipe out most of the world's population. But how could this happen in the real world? Well, all over the world, right now, people are working on artificial intelligence, and it's actually advancing at quite a rate. To the extent that it's scaring many people. Robots are being given just enough intelligence to walk, run, open doors, avoid obstacles, and do complex tasks and more. As such, it's incredibly possible that with enough breakthroughs, the military will try and get an AI to run at least part of their systems with the goal of efficiency and better strategy. And if that AI was to develop like Skynet, and take over the nuclear missiles that the military has, Judgment Day could become very real, and our world would end. Number 7, war. If there's one very sad fact about the world that we can all admit, it's that humans are very, very flawed. We judge one another, we fight one another, and in the worst instances, we kill one another. In fact, killing is one thing that humanity is known for more than anything else, the worst times of which are when people of states or nations or continents are at war, which goes to prove that war is most definitely a way that the world could end. At one time, wars were rather small in context, but they started to grow. Soon, wars consumed entire regions and then continents and then spread from one continent to another. World War I was dubbed the war to end all wars because nothing like it had been seen before. Then, around 20 years later, World War II happened, and the expansion of war grew even more. Right now, the world finds itself on the brink of war again. It may not seem overt at times, but between what's going on in the United States, United Kingdom, Russia, China, the Koreas, and more, the world is not super stable. So World War III could be on the way. Even if it doesn't come this year or next, it will likely happen at some point down the line. Given all the military technology and weapons that these nations have, it would be catastrophic for a war on the scale that's feared for World War III. We're talking missile strikes, bombings, and potentially even nuclear bombings, all of which could wipe out the world without much hesitation. So what's to say the end of humanity on Earth won't be because of humanity? Number 6, rapture. One of the things that both divides and unites humanity is the concept of religion. Whether you believe in the old pantheons like the Roman gods, Greek gods, Norse gods, or you believe in God and Jesus via Christianity or Judaism, or even believe in some middle ground like Buddhism, most religions have a judgment day, aka the moment that the god or gods return to the earth and decide to remake it or just plain end it. Another word for this is rapture. Rapture is a very interesting thing to talk about because on one hand, we know how it'll happen via the various texts and religious documents. However, and this is the source of much debate and controversy, we don't know which one is real and which ones aren't. In fact, there are some people who believe that all or some of the pantheons and religious deities are real and that the only reason the world hasn't ended is that they'd go to war with one another if they do, which, if you think about it, could also end the world. Whatever way you look at it, should one of these beliefs be right, the end of the world could come via the god or gods we worship. Number 5. Meteor. Space is full of many wonders, but it's also full of many dangers. One such danger is a piece of space debris that many feel could actually be our doom. Mainly that a meteor or asteroid will hit Earth and wipe us all out. The fear of meteors and asteroids is actually pretty logical. For we know that there are many out there in space, and we know that chunks of them via comets or meteors do hit Earth. Granted, not in the sizes that could cause the destruction of the world, but they still hit us, which means that if a smaller one could hit, a larger one could also hit, and if that meteor or asteroid is big enough, it could wipe us all out. Because of this, places like NASA dedicate a lot of time to trying to figure out just how close certain asteroids and meteors are to hitting Earth, some of which do have a chance of doing the damage needed. Plus, if you believe certain scientists, this has already happened before, as a meteor is one of the reasons people think that the dinosaurs were wiped off the Earth, and thus created the Ice Age. If it killed the dinosaurs, it could certainly kill humanity. Number 4. Nature. Now you might be confused by this one, but it's actually very, very simple. Nature is all around us, and the more we delve into this world of ours, the more we realize that we don't know everything about it. There are plants and animals that are being discovered for the very first time right now, and every year seems to expand our knowledge of the world. To that end, it's very possible that there could be something in nature out there right now that will end the world. It could be a disease or a spore virus. It could even be the very animals that we're finding out there. The world is alive, and as such, when we as humans hurt the world via chopping down trees or killing the animals that live in it, we're killing the world itself. So there might come a point when nature decides to fight back and take us out. Or another way of looking at it is that if we don't stop killing nature, a lot of the things that nature does to support us, like give oxygen to the environment, may well cease. The animals would die, and all that we depend on would be put into jeopardy. Number 3. Virus. There are many kinds of ways to get sick in the world. Some of them come from nature, but another comes from humanity. It's well known that diseases and viruses are created by humans both in intentional and unintentional ways. Creating viruses can help test medical procedures. Likewise, the interaction between humans, animals, plants, and more can create connections that nature or human alone couldn't come up with, and thus new diseases and viruses are born. A big dread in the world today is that somewhere out there is an experiment going on that will truly kill us all. That it'll spread through the population like wildfire and not be able to be contained in time before it literally wipes us out. There have been many movies and TV shows about this possibility, including one that will have the virus turn us into zombies, which, given everything this world is capable of, may not be as illogical as you think. No matter what though, if a virus, natural or man-made, is spread throughout the world at a dangerous rate and can kill, well, the world would be over before we know it. Number 2. The sun. Where do we get our light? Where do we get our warmth? The answer, for the most part, is the sun. The sun is a star, the only one in our immediate solar system, and it is the source of our tether to the universe we know. For the Earth orbits around the sun and is blessed because of its heat and light. So it shouldn't surprise you that the sun is very likely the reason that the Earth will be destroyed. Well, there are multiple ways. One is the destruction of the world as the sun gets older. As it ages, the sun will get more powerful via its heat degree emission rising. This can lead to the oceans literally boiling over instead of being cool. They'll put more gas into the atmosphere, slowly raising the natural temperature of the world. Essentially, we'd become a literal greenhouse planet, and pretty much all life would die. The other option is that the sun itself will die, and when a star like ours dies, it goes supernova, expanding to such a size that the Earth will literally become consumed by its fire. It will be turned to ash in no time flat. Number 1. The Earth. I know you're wondering, how can the Earth kill itself? Very easily when you think about it, for the Earth is very much a system of various components. And all these components work together to keep the Earth alive. So even if one system fails, we'd all suffer. A great example of this is the Earth's core. Its heat keeps many things warm, and it affects many things in the atmosphere, like the magnetic barrier we have. If the Earth's core was to cool down enough, the magnetosphere would vanish. This would cause us to be unprotected from the sun's rays and other cosmic radiation. There's also the issue of natural disasters. This is mostly the Earth's doing, and if it were to create a big enough superstorm, it could wipe up just about everyone on the planet. So in many ways, the biggest threat to our survival is the Earth itself.
So, would you like what you just saw? Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to notify when I upload new videos, and we'll see you later.